It is Thursday the 20th of June. We are at the Electric Palace in Harwich. I heard for the Harwich Arts Festival. You know, pretty excited for this gig, I guess, or as excited as you get these days. But looking forward to it. It's a big one. It's in a venue that looks to be a few hundred people. The England game was just finished in the Euros, so I wonder if that means no one's going to be there. But yeah, looking forward to it. I've just got the train from London, the Big Smoke. You would have seen, obviously, me not do too well at the gig in Essex. This month I've got a couple big gigs in my mind. You know, you do a lot of the open mics, but it's good to have kind of big placeholders for gigs that you want to do well in. And this is one of them, getting paid as well. And I kind of want a bit of redemption, but you know, my expectations for myself here is really just to try my best. And I think the more you kind of do these things, that's where you're at, or at least hopefully you are if you're a bit of a reasonable person and level-headed like I am. Yeah, I don't really know what to expect, and I think that's why you have to peter out your expectations on what happens after it, because you do the open mic scene, you get to understand the landscape, you move up and you start doing bigger venues, and you've got to start to learn a different understanding of what to expect, I think, you know, in different areas. I generally have been received quite well outside of London, bar a few places. All I've got is my material, generally, as I say. I've done some preparation for this, which I don't do that often, right on the train, and really want to make sure that I'm tight, because although you can make sort of allowances for why the last big gig in Essex wasn't great, I still have to look at it as a bomb, because you still need to do well, and it keeps you honest, keeps you humble. Hopefully we'll do all right tonight. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of my new stuff around the fat jokes, because I think there's some powerful punchlines. Hopefully I remember the order, and hopefully we'll have a good fucking time. This place is remote.
I didn't get on the post. I don't know if it's because I was booked late.
Did you get on it late? No, it's alright, it's alright. I'll do a little.
I think there's enough time pause or loop between each of you, and you're all at something very different. What a great MC he is, man. I was chatting earlier on about key workers and stuff. I actually work for the NHS. Yay! It's up to lie. I just needed a strong start, to be honest. No, do you know what? Yeah, my name is Chris Alley. I've actually been doing stand-up comedy just over 2 years, right? But you know, I've been dreaming about it since I was a kid, and it's crazy to think, because back then I actually had hope. Now, it's been going alright, you know, it's been going pretty well. I've been getting some good feedback here and there. Obviously not here, in Harwich. I know you found out. Sorry, look, I'm from London, alright? I speak the Queen's English, you're wrong. Was it the King's English? I don't know. You know, the thing is, people have been coming up to me after gigs and saying, Chris, I really like your comedy, but it's just a bit too black. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? Joke like I'm a white person? I don't like skiing. Like, it is a quiche. Hey, you bred in my house. You know what I mean? I remember the first time someone came up to me after a gig and told me my comedy was too black. I almost spat the fried chicken out my mouth. Someone's going, oh, it's too black, do you know what I mean? Phil said he was going to explain a black person, I'm showing you one. But I grew up a fat kid, now I'm a fat adult. I'll be honest, I did not see that coming. So when you're a fat kid, right, all people ever tell you is that you'll grow out of it. Grow out of it? I grew around it. When I tell people how much I weigh, they say, oh, well, you carry it well, don't you? What does that even mean? That's something you tell a camel. Not a human being. The thing is, right, I've lost some weight actually in the last few years, so when I tell people I'm fat, they always say, oh, you're not fat, Chris. I think that's the worst level of fat to be, when no one notices. I mean, do you guys think I'm fat?
No.
It's very disappointing for me. Yeah. The thing is, right, like, I want to be recognised as a fat person, right, because, like for when I'm late, you know? As a black person, right, when you're late, you get worried because you think people are going to judge you for being late because you're black. When you're fat and late, people understand. Those steps were hard, man, I'll be honest. Start to get a head start. I needed a running start, man. That's ridiculous. Actually, have we got any football fans in the house? Yeah. Don't talk about, I know, fucking England. Fuck me, you know. I have to because it's part of my bit, but... no, I'm a big football fan, me. Big football fan. Trying to become a medium-sized football fan, you know. Still holding on to that Christmas weight since I was 12. But you might have heard about this, right? I don't know. Like, the Premier League released this list of the most influential black people in football, right? So, you know, really good stuff. So players like Rashford and Sancho, and the old one that didn't make the squad. Guess what they called it? They called it the blacklist. I know. The thing is, right, like, even though it's massively offensive, that's not my problem. I just think it lacks creativity. Like, what are these idiots going to come up with next? The most influential Slovakians in football? They call it the checklist. I get it, like, you're trying to recognise black people. But making a list of black excellence and calling it a blacklist is almost as bad as putting an all-black political party together and calling that party slave labour. Right, that's a good fucking joke, right? Something too, I guess, you know. Did you cheer in the room or yell? Did anyone in here grow up with like a bit of an annoying dad? Yeah? Must be nice. Practically showing off at this point. No, I grew up with a single mum, you know, wonderful single mum. Okay, give up for the single hoes out there. No, growing up, you know, she did all the typical things her dad would do, you know. We got to play football, she talks about girls, what she calls slags. She even taught me how to shave. You know, it's hard to get between those legs, but you know. Hey, people have done it, right? I'm a good son. I did alright, I reckon. But something else about me is I grew up with a twin brother, so so nice they made me twice. Or as my mum likes to say, 2 mistakes for the price of 1. Silly bitch. The thing about my twin brother is that people say when we see us together, they say I look exactly like him, which really annoys me because I think he's ugly, you know. But, you know, there are some similarities, but there's differences too. Because like I'm straight, but my twin brother's actually gay, and you know, when he came out, it really wasn't a surprise, you know, because like all the signs were there. You know, we grew up together. We used to play games. We used to play doctors and nurses. You know, the game we played different characters in the hospital. Guess who my gay twin brother always wanted to be? No, it was Beyonce. Always the wrist issue, you know what I mean? You know. But when my twin brother came out, right, he came out when we were 18 years old, you know, which was great. He was telling friends and family. The only problem I have is I'm a big homophobe. Big homophobe. Trying to become a medium-sized homophobe, you know? No, obviously I'm not a homophobe, I used to bath naked with a gay guy. Yeah. The thing is, I feel like in the last few years, people have tried to recognise black people in really weird ways, you know? They had the term BAME, that got cancelled. The one I never understood was the term person of colour. How did that get through? Obviously none of you get it because you're white, but The term person of colour means someone that isn't white. Now for me, any term that puts me and Lucy Liu in the same category, that's got to be a term. Right? I mean, she's a 5'2" Asian woman that looks like she can fit in Miss People's pockets. And I'm not. I'm a 5'10", 80-stone black guy. I can barely fit in most smart cars. You know? We're not the same people. You know? The thing is, right, also in the last few years, people have been talking about privileges. And I think as black people, we have privileges too. You know, like we get to say things that white people don't get to say. Like bumperclad. No. But I think the reason is, right, I once heard this saying, and it goes, not all white people are racist, but all racist people are white.
Not true.
Hold on, well, do you know who said that? Some black cunt? You're not laughing far too hard at that. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, I did it. Do you know, I'll leave it on this, you've been great, right? I'll tell you this. I recently went, I was speaking to this vegan in Whole Foods, right? Who told me that me calling myself black is actually a self-identifying preference. To be honest, I've got no clue what they then was talking about. Right, you see, because all my life I thought I was born black. I didn't realise it was a preference. I mean, if it was a preference, I'd have one of those big black dicks, you know what I'm saying? Fogging like the rockin' shit. My jug looks like 3 new potatoes just huddled together. Do you know what? You guys have been absolutely wonderful. I've been Chris Sally. Thank you very much.
So it's actually been a few days since that spot. I never know how to do the transition from the spot to now where I'm talking, because it's just shit editing. But here we go. There is so much that I want to say about that night, about the gig. Firstly, I just want to say absolutely fantastic gig. I had a great time. It was actually kind of just over half capacity, but I don't know if you could tell from the clip, but you know, the feedback there was really, really good. Everyone was up for a good time. It was nice to be able to actually have a good gig in a, you know, somewhat professional setting, especially after last week in Essex. You know, I recently got some feedback about some spots in London where a booker had actually come back to me and said that I wasn't good enough for their spots, which, look, it's fair enough. I don't think I'm the best ever, but I think in reflection to where I'd seen posts of acts that I've kind of come up with, who I would consider my peers, being put up, and maybe not having to some of the successes I've had, I'll be honest, I just didn't agree. You know, I just didn't agree. I thought that even just give me a shot, you know, I'm not saying you got to start putting me up every week, but at least give me a chance to have a spot. And then for the person to come back and actually say that actually I'm not good enough, it can be a bit tough at times. You know, I've had some feedback in the past about where I'm at with things, which has not been favourable to me. And this person actually books a few spots in London, but, you know, I don't get London spots, so there you go. Coming out and actually performing in front of, you know, 100+ people, even more at times, and doing well, it just kind of keeps you motivated, keeps you going. And actually, you know, you have to have a little bit of self-belief and understanding where you're at. And I just didn't agree, and I think that days like today have proven that. Well, to me at least. I don't know about to that arsehole. In respects to the night, you know, it was a great night, but the biggest takeaway for me was actually having the opportunity to speak to Mark Thomas, who was our headliner. I have to be honest, I just feel like such a clown for the amount of ignorance that I have in not knowing kind of Mark and his history. He was a really interesting guy, so much to talk about, just stories about stand-up. You know, he's 39 years in, clearly lived a great career and life in terms of what he's doing. it was just amazing. It was amazing to see how, firstly, how gracious he was with his time. I think we got the train back from London. We probably were speaking for about 2 hours, maybe altogether, from the gig to train. To see everyone, or a lot of people, interact with him as actual fans, like these people knew who he was, and just the reverence for him about what he was saying. I mean, when he was performing, it was like preaching. He said that his dad was a preacher, and you can absolutely see where it comes from. It was mesmerizing, was the word that I used. And then, you know, we were speaking on the train, and we had 2 people behind us, a couple a bit older than me, who, you know, wanted to interrupt in their minds just to be able to speak to him, because we were talking about comedy and impact and, you know, stuff that I want to talk about as a comic with someone that is more experienced. And it was just great just seeing how he was with them, and how they were with him, and the things they were talking about. You know, he really had something to say. And it's, yeah, I'm literally about to sit down here and write some stuff out, because I've got more shit to do. I've got some stuff to say, and I want to start working out ways to say it. The big thing that actually, there was so much, I mean, I'm going to have to keep a lot for this myself, so I do apologise. But one thing I will say is that he's actually he's building up for a show, and he's been on some open mic spots. And I said to him, you're 39 years in, you're still going up to open mic spots. And it was so reassuring, because I've often thought this, and I've said it out loud, that, you know, you've got to expose yourself to all these different places to know that you can handle it. And his exact words was to know that he would be bulletproof if he went to some of these open mic nights. He went to Sunset Comedy, which is held by a good friend of mine called Sam, which I'm doing in a few weeks. You know, I've got people that have been doing it as long as I have, and even less, that think they're too good for open mics because they think that their shit's too hot. And this guy's actually going out and still doing it, the same spots that we are. I think there's something to learn. I think that everyone can take that and actually just understand what it is that they're in for. Because I think some people are probably in it for being famous, and some people are in it because they have something to say and they want to say it. And that was a man who clearly has a lot of success in doing it the way that he wants to do it. And I want to do it the way that I want to do it. So it was a great night. You know, just being able to do it, and do it the way that I have been doing it, and meeting the people that I have. Even now, it's probably more than I could have ever dreamed of. So who knows what's going to happen? You know, I like doing well in front of a good audience, and whatever comes with that afterwards, hopefully I can handle it. We've got a reasonable July, and then we're going to go into August, and then we're going to go on to the next one.